Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to In the Garden with Joyful Living. I am Kimberly Dixon. Shirt all the way up. Choking me. Guys, can I tell you the morning I have had? So this last week I set up a streaming service that would allow me to stream on Facebook and YouTube and multiple other platforms at the same time. Logged in, tested it, did all of that great stuff. This morning, set my laptop up, get everything in place because I got a bunch of, my table is covered with stuff right now. And when I tell you it would not even allow me to log in, it would not allow me to log in. Good morning, Janelle. So, my laptop is here, but I had to go back to my previous method of doing it, which was by my cell phone, posting a video on Facebook, saving it, and then just uploading it to YouTube. Technology is great when it works, but when it doesn't, improvise. You got to do what you got to do. So since I'm indoors this morning, I still have some stuff to show you. I don't remember, but I don't know if you remember, but a few weeks ago, I showed you my midgenet strawberries that I was going to plant. And seeds are like people. Some grow very quickly. Some take a while. And strawberries, you typically take 30 to 40 days to germinate. But I don't know if you can see it or not. I'm going to try to get you to see it. But can you see those little sprouts? My strawberries. Good morning, Lori. I have one. Let me get a different pot. Those little seedlings. Can you see those? They're growing. So hopefully, they're in the very beginning stages. Hopefully, they'll make it to the point of planting. But I also want to show you some of the other things that I've got going on in the kitchen. A few weeks ago, I showed you my sweet potatoes that I'm rooting to get slips off of. Now, these two sweet potatoes, I started at the exact same time. But look at this one. And then look at this one. Purchased them from the same place, same farmer, same grower, but they are growing at much different paces. But both of them are developing a great root system so that when March comes, I'm going to put these in some 15-gallon bags that I purchased. But I'm going to do an experiment. I like to experiment, guys. So these two potatoes are going to go in one bag. But last year, I tried a method where you simply stick a sweet potato. You've done nothing to it. Put half of it in the ground, half of it above ground, and water it just like you would any other thing. And that's how I grew my sweet potatoes last year. But my yield, one, I planted them late. But two, my yield was they didn't get very big. So I want to compare the methods with starting them this way. Good morning, Darius, and starting them by sticking half the sweet potato in the ground and then just let it grow from that point. But I also want to show you some things that I've started by seeds. These are beets. The beet greens are edible just like spinach or Swiss chard or anything of that nature. But I started those from seeds. Today, I'm going to be starting marigolds. Some that I purchased from a pack. Some that I gathered from my own seeds. Because most of the plants that you put in your garden, you can gather seeds from them at the end of the season. So gardening is so beautiful because it teaches sustainability in a way that is completely and totally amazing. Because, I purchased a plant or a pack of seeds this year, but at the end of the season, that same plant will give me hundreds, if not thousands, depending on the variety. Good morning, Margot. Good morning, Cornelius. Good morning, Delsa. Depending on the variety of plant. So these marigold seeds are actually from the marigolds that I purchased last year. So I won't have to purchase marigolds again, probably ever, because the flowers themselves have the little seeds inside them. So once they dry, you have your own supply of seeds. But I want to do a comparison of the marigold seeds that I gathered versus the ones that I purchased. Another thing, so today I'm planting tomatoes, and we're going to talk about hitting potential. The seeds that I'm actually planting today are beefsteak tomato, Paul Robeson tomato, large cherry tomato, good morning Coretta, as well as aroma tomato. Now, many of you probably said Paul Robeson tomato. I've never heard of that. Paul Robeson. Well, this tomato was developed in Russia, but it's in honor of the African-American entertainer Paul Robeson. In Russia, they absolutely adored him and they treated him well. And this is the tomato, a picture of it, that gets produced from a Paul Robeson seed. So I'm going to go ahead and open these. Bear with me. Now, you know seeds of most any vegetable, some of them are pretty decent size like a bean, but the vast majority of them, they are so very tiny. But I don't know if you can see that, but that is the seed from to grow a Paul Robeson tomato, and I'm dropping them everywhere. That's okay, we'll pick them up later. But this seed right here, these tiny, tiny little seeds have the potential to become a plant that will produce this beautiful, lovely tomato. Why am I talking about, seeds and tomatoes and hidden potential? Well, because no one would look. Can you see that? Look at that seed. It's so tiny you can't even hardly see it. Look at that seed and think it's going to produce something that not only is edible and delicious, but that will feed you and your entire family, maybe even your community. And then take that one tomato. That plant is going to produce lots and lots of tomatoes, but you can take the seeds from one tomato, actually cut it in half and plant that tomato and produce a tree, another plant, a tree. Where did that come from? But you would never look at that one little tiny seed and know, ooh, my fingernails look atrocious. That's what digging in dirt will do for you. Pardon the nails. I don't even care. But that's what that one little seed has the potential to produce. Now, we as humans, as people, we have that very same potential in us, but it is hidden away. And a lot of times we never know what we are truly capable of, what we have the potential to produce, because it gets hidden by all the things of life, through the trauma of life, through the experiences of life, where you don't think that you have the potential to be anything, the potential to grow into anything larger than what you started out as. But I want to encourage all of us today to have the tenacity that this tiny little seed has, to grow into something that is larger than life. Lord said, woo, come on there. But something that is larger than life, that has the ability to impact not only yourself, but your children, your community, generations and generations to come. Because these seeds from any kind of plant, you can store them in a cool, dry place. You can store them in your freezer. But these seeds, 10 years from now, will be just as viable as they are today. So today, I'm going to plant all of these varieties of tomatoes. I'm going to plant my marigolds at the very same time so that they are large enough to plant in the containers with them. Because this is the thing. We do something called companion planting. Marigolds, they are pretty little flowers. But I'm going to tell y'all, I hate the way they smell. But guess what else hates the way they smell? The very pest that will destroy your tomato plant. Pests hate the way the marigold smells. So if you plant a marigold in your garden with your tomatoes or in your pots, whatever method of growing you're using, you always want to plant marigolds throughout your garden, because aphids, white flies, and other things, they hate the way they smell. Just like the way I hate the way they smell, because they're so pretty. But them little things, they do not smell good at all. But they are beneficial to your garden. So I'm going to start my marigolds out today as well, so that when I do my planting of my tomatoes, they already have some blooms on them, so that they have the biggest opportunity to succeed in life. That's what we need to do. Do companion planting with our children, with ourselves. Good morning, Tammy. We want to make sure that we are in association with people that are going to help us grow. So that marigold is going to help protect that tomato while it is young, until it is, able to stand on its own. That's what we do with our children. We protect them so that they're able to stand on their own. We protect them from the white flies and the aphids that show up in the form of people who don't mean them any good, who can hinder their life. Good morning, Tanya. Who can hamper their development. So just the way I'm going to plant those marigold seeds. Where my marigolds go? Y'all, got so much junk on this table. Marigold seeds along with my tomatoes, it's going to help them. It's going to nurture them. It's going to help protect them so that they are growing to a strong, beautiful plant that hasn't been eaten alive by the pest in life. Don't let your children get hooked up with friends who will eat them alive. Brothers and fathers, don't let your daughters and your sisters get hooked up with men who are going to eat them alive. Men, mothers and sisters, don't let your brothers and your husbands get hooked up with friends and associates who are going to eat them alive. So we all have this potential in us to be something that's limitless. We are all created by God. The very breath that he breathed into Adam, that same breath is on the inside of us. We have the potential to be more than we even ever imagined, but it gets so snuffed out and stifled by the experiences of life and by the people that we have in our life, that many of us get to the end of our life. Good morning, Jay. Said you preaching. Many of us get to the end of our life and we never developed into that beautiful thing that God created us for, because we were eaten up by the pest in life. So today, don't let your hidden potential go untapped. There are people out there waiting to experience you. Good morning, Consuela. Oh, honey, I haven't seen you in such a long time. She said, hey, Sunshine. Y'all, you know that's my nickname. My best friends call me Sunshine. Good morning, Doc. That's my cousin. Love you. I ain't seen you in forever either. But the potential that we have on the inside of us, God said, I knew you before you were formed. He created you with a purpose and a plan and a design that was designed just for you and nobody but you. Just like these two sweet potatoes. They came from the very same batch, very same store, very good grower. I know him personally. Yet they are developing at different paces. So often in life, say for instance, this is me and this is my sister. And I'll look at my sister and say, I'm not doing what she's doing. I'm useless. Or I have failed. Good morning, Cynthia. That I have failed in life. But we have a different potential. We are supposed to grow at a different rate. We are supposed to do different things in life. She may supposed to be able to preach and teach to the world, whereas I might supposed to teach children right here in my own community how to grow vegetables. Speaking of which, coming April the 24th, mark your calendars for this. I am going to be doing Giving from the Ground, Planting Seeds of Greatness youth event. It is already getting bigger than I imagined. The flyer is not out yet. It'll be out at the end of the month, which will tell you how to register. As soon as you see that flyer, I would recommend that you go ahead and register for this event, because it's a small event. It's the first one. Good morning, Alex. It's the first one of its kind, but I've already got 10 people who said that they are coming. So when you see that flyer, and it's going to be on a first come, first serve basis, register right then. So it is Giving from the Ground, Planting Seeds of Greatness, because I know that our children have the potential to be these amazing little creatures, these amazing little humans. But if that potential goes untapped, they can get eaten up by the world. So again, that little seed that I showed you earlier, let's see if I can pick it up again. That seed, get the camera to focus, and it don't want to focus. But you can see it on the end of my finger. Has the potential to become that delicious, sweet, black tomato. This is considered to be one of the black varieties, which there is a tomato that is completely black. But in tapping into our potential, I want you to realize that you don't have to live in a large house. You don't have to be wealthy. You can do all of those things without having money. So a few weeks ago, I mentioned that you could use paper towel and toilet tissue holders to store your plants in. And one of the ladies asked me, how do you make a plant holder with that? You turn this into this. Nobody realizes that this little roll that is simply designed to hold your tissue can be so much more than that. All you do is cut 4 little slits in it. And then fold the bottom, and what was something that you was going to throw into the trash can now become a seed starter that you don't have to buy. That simple. Hidden potential. Something that we throw away every day. And I recycle, and I can throw these in the recycle bin, or I can use them and then bury this very same thing, put it in the ground, in the pot, with the seed, with the plant in it, and it returns to dirt again, the very thing that it came from. And now it fertilizes my plant. It feeds the earthworms or whatever's in the dirt, the microbes and things of that nature. Hidden potential. Not useless. Don't throw it in the trash. Now, you can buy pods. I got some here on the table. But again, I got 12 million things on the table. But you can put a piece of tape on the bottom of it, or you cannot. I don't put tape on them. I just set them in a little tray. And then, actually, I like these better than seed starters because the holes in the bottom allow the roots to grow out. So you've got this good, healthy, strong network of roots that you can plant to give your plants the best start in life. We all have so much potential in us. Now, if you're a person who I've experienced a lot of trauma, you've experienced a lot of trauma, and you don't know what your hidden potential is, I would recommend y'all don't go nowhere. I'm coming. Okay, I'm on my way. I'm such a horrible host. But I forgot my books, y'all. This series of books by Dr. Miles Monroe. This is the man, he's been deceased for several years now, but this is the man who taught me how to fast when you're doing a long fast. Fasting 24 hours, no problem. Fasting much longer than that, it can be an issue for people, but watching his videos is what taught me how to fast and do it in a way that I don't feel sick and when I really have a connection with the Holy Spirit. But if you're having a hard time understanding your potential or your purpose or fulfilling that thing, I would recommend this series of books by Dr. Miles Monroe, Understanding Your Potential, Maximizing Your Potential. And there's another book here. I just don't know where it's at, but it's all on potential so that you can get an idea of who you really are and who you were created to be. I don't care what circumstances and situation you were born into. Those situations were likely to build you into the purpose and the person that God needs you to be to fulfill your role in his kingdom. But so oftentimes in life, good morning, Mary, we let those things in life, God, because, we can experience some things that nobody would imagine. Sit down and talk to anybody. I don't care what station of life they come from. I don't care whether they black, white, or purple. Sit down and talk to them. And good morning, Mary. I just said good morning to you. I'm sorry, honey. The camera doing stuff. But we'll find out that everybody has some type of story. It may not be your story, but that story still has value in it. So I want all of us to realize the potential that we have in us today. Just like these seeds that I have all over my table. They have potential. That strawberry seed, and I showed you those strawberry seeds, but they're even smaller than those tomato seeds that I just showed you. But I showed you the strawberry seeds a couple of weeks ago. And their days to germination is 30 days. 30 to 40 days. And I was like, wow. Some seeds germinate in 1 to 3 days, 7 to 10 days. This one is 30 to 40 days. I planted this on January the 16th. Because just as a gardening, that's a good way. Write the item and the date that you started it on, just so you can keep up. Because sounds easy to do, but once you got 10 flats, good morning, Kim, going, you'll lose track. But that tiny little strawberry seed has the potential to become strawberries. Now, these are very young seedlings. They may make it, they might not, because all types of things can happen that will hinder them, hamper them, and even destroy them. It's like, but they have the potential. That tiny, tiny seed has the potential to become a beautiful strawberry with beautiful little, this variety has pink and white flowers on it. Pink and white flowers, but then produce food that I can actually eat. We have that same potential in us. That seed that was planted in you before you were born. So guys, thank you for watching In the Garden with Joyful Living. Please share the video if you enjoyed this. And again, continue to keep me lifted up in prayer, because I'm trying to get this new system working where I can stream on multiple platforms at the same time. And I promised you, I set it up. Everything was looking good. And I was going to use it this morning. And got ready to try to log into it. And it won't even let me log in. So, again, technology is beautiful when it works. But don't get dismayed by those things in life. Don't get frustrated by it. Keep moving. Keep going forward. There's a lot of things that have happened over the course of the last 12 months that have changed my life, your life, and the way the world lives. But don't let that hinder you. Keep moving forward, even if it's tiny, tiny little steps, because eventually you'll be able to look back and just see how far you've come. But if you stop along the way and you don't move forward anymore, then the potential that was planted in you before you were born, I knew you before you were born. Even the hairs on your head are numbered. That potential that was planted in you, then it goes to waste. But guys, thank you for watching In the Garden with Joyful Living. I hope you enjoyed this segment of hitting potential this morning. Please share the video. I love you. Bye-bye.